Jim O'Callaghan sharing with Deputy James Brown.
Ceann Comhairle nílach trocha lá fachta go dtí bratamach agus is deacair é a creadúnt ach ní léon socrú ann fós idir an Ríocht Aontaithe agus an Taontas Eorpach. Chualamar an go méid an Parliament i London ag vótáil ar an ceist bratamach I mí a thugan agus Beidir go méid siad ag dhéanamh cinenne deireanach ag an am céine. Tá sé duchaite a Ceann Comhairle. I mthorm féin tá cursaí ag éirí Trump cúsach don tír seo agus don cadrih Anglo-Éireannach. Ní léon doubt dá méach teor an crua ar an Uilleann nó idir an tír seo agus an Ríocht Aontaithe beag a lán feibanna a gcuin. Go háirithe beag feib leis an tionscal an bia, tionscal an déireachta agus a lán tionscal eile. Agus caithfidh an rialtas níos mó taceach a thart don tionscal an bia agus tionscal an déireacht agus a lán tionscal eile. Ceann Comhairle, it is astonishing that we are 30 days away from Brexit and we still do not know what is going to transpire on the 29th of March of this year. I think it's important to state at the outset, however, that Brexit for this country and indeed for this Ireland is a very negative, a very regressive and a very disastrous event. The history of this island has been dominated by our relationship with our larger neighbour, and that has been a difficult relationship over the years that our history has been recorded. It's a relationship that unfortunately has been dominated by colonisation, plantation, persecution, violence. But since independence, and in particular since our membership of the European Union, the relationship has improved. And today the relationship between this island and Britain is more characterised by friendship, by understanding, and indeed by reconciliation. Part of the reason why we've been able to reach reconciliation, understanding and friendship is because of our common membership of what was originally the EEC, which today is the European Union. I suppose the heightened example of the increased cooperation between the two countries arose with the Belfast Agreement that was signed some 20 years ago. That was an ingenious piece of diplomacy and an ingenious piece of statecraft. It allowed people in the contested part of this island in Northern Ireland to be able to reconcile the competing identities that were present in that part of the United Kingdom. People who had alignment or allegiance towards a unified Ireland were able to have that identity recognised through their Irish identity and through the provisions provided for in the Good Friday Agreement. Similarly, people who wished to remain part of the United Kingdom could do so in the understanding that this country and indeed the nationalist community in Northern Ireland accepted their entitlement to remain part of the United Kingdom until such time as a majority of people in Northern Ireland decided otherwise. An integral part of that was the common membership of the European Union. No one thought in 1998 that Britain was going to leave the European Union, and had that been even considered at the time, you can be sure there would have been much more explicit provisions stitched into the Good Friday Agreement. I suppose part of the reason why Britain is leaving and we are so content within the European Union is because in this island, in this country, we managed European integration much better than they did over in the United Kingdom. In this country, European integration was achieved through the cooperation and in most instances through the democratic wish of the Irish people. We voted on significant treaties. The reason we voted on significant treaties was because sovereignty in this country resides in the people. The difficulty that I think the British people have experienced is that sovereignty in Britain doesn't reside in the people, it resides in Parliament. And because of that, Parliament allowed for European integration without really taking into account the fact that the British public weren't being brought along with the politicians in Westminster. That manifested itself as a problem with the Maastricht Treaty back in 1992, and since then it has grown as a very significant problem within the United Kingdom. It's not for us to provide advice to the United Kingdom, but I think one of the things we can point out is that a constitution which is written down is preferable. People are able to identify it and to understand it. And as well as that, if you have a constitution, it is also preferable that sovereignty resides in the people rather than in Parliament. And that is why, I suppose, people look back upon what the United Kingdom did in having referendum as being a very unusual step. There's no need in the United Kingdom for governments to have referendum because sovereignty resides in Parliament. If Parliament wants to make a law, it can make the law, and it doesn't have to worry about that law in any way being incompatible with the Constitution of the United Kingdom. It obviously would have to be concerned now about compatibility with the EU Charter and indeed the Convention. But in general, Parliament can do what it wishes. But what they have done in recent years is that they've tried to adopt a two-pronged approach, with Parliament having one say and then giving the people a say by way of referenda, and it has created, predictably, problems for them. The bill before the House today is a considerable piece of legislation, and there are two parts of it which deal in particular with justice issues. We had a Justice Committee meeting this morning which was very beneficial in that we had an opportunity to interact with the Minister and the officials in respect of those two issues, which are extradition and immigration. There's one issue in respect of immigration that I wish to put on the record of the House, and it's an important point in terms of how it applies to people who are non-EEA family members of UK citizens. The reason those people can stay in this country is because of the European Union treaties which apply to UK citizens. But obviously, once the UK leaves on the 29th of March or whenever, those people who are non-EEA family members of UK citizens will be left in a position of limbo or uncertainty. I welcome the fact that this morning the Minister and his officials confirmed in the Justice Committee that those individuals will be granted rights of residency here and will be able to continue with their status as it is today without there being any interference in their entitlements. I think also we need to recognise that the removal of the European arrest warrant between this country and the United Kingdom is going to have a very detrimental effect. It worked very effectively, and from now on we're going to have to go back to the 1957 European Convention on Extradition. I was pleased to hear today that in the United Kingdom they have enacted reciprocal legislation that will mean that citizens from the UK can be extradited here, so that we will be able to extradite people who are citizens here to the UK. There's two other areas I think need to be addressed and which aren't dealt with in the legislation. The first is the Brussels Convention on Civil Jurisdiction. At present, if somebody in Louth is crashed into by somebody from Antrim, you're entitled to sue the person from Antrim in the courts of Ireland because the Tortious Act took place in this jurisdiction. The reason that is permissible is because of the Brussels regulation, which provides that you can sue in the place where the event occurred. After the 29th of March, there's considerable uncertainty as to how civil jurisdiction will operate. To use the example I've given, it may be the case if the Brussels regulation goes that you will have to sue if you're a citizen in Louth and an accident happens in Louth. You're going to have to sue in the orthodox way, which is in the jurisdiction where the defendant is domiciled, which would be Northern Ireland. So I think we need some clarity in respect of that issue. Another issue of some concern relates to family law, and that isn't dealt with in the bill either. Under Regulation 2201 of 2003, there's recognition given to divorces from the United Kingdom and indeed child abduction cases in respect which involve Ireland and the United Kingdom. These are all very common when you think of the fact that we have a land border with the United Kingdom on this island. I think we need clarity as to what is going to happen after Brexit in respect of the recognition in this country of UK divorces and child abduction issues that happen in the UK. So they are the points I wish to make in respect to this. I can guarantee the Minister and the Government, and indeed anyone else who's interested, that we're going to find that some issue is going to arise after Brexit which nobody has thought about and which is going to cause considerable trouble. And what really the message from Brexit is from my point of view, is that it is a regressive step. The British United Kingdom is removing itself from association of cooperation with other friendly states, and it is simply going back to the situation that existed prior to their membership of the EEC, and I don't think that is helpful to the United Kingdom or indeed to this country. Thanks.